wisdom, student enrollment. That's what the class of God students enroll in. Supreme wisdom, I study it hard. The study of myself is the study of God. Supreme wisdom, write your letter, get your X. Supreme wisdom, that's what you'll be getting next. Supreme wisdom, some call it the lessons, but I call it life, actual facts, no guessing.
And we are in week 3 of Who is the Original Man. And so tonight, inshallah, I plan on going way back, all the way back to the beginning, according to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now one may ask the question, why is it necessary for us to go back to the beginning? How far is the beginning? Is the beginning really the beginning? Well, we will find out tonight. So, I have a question. Of course, how strong, this is what it all started off with. How strong is our foundation? Can we survive the war of Armageddon? Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we want to know whether or not we have the ability to survive. So, we have to have the prerequisites to survive this war. One of them is knowledge. So the question that we're dealing with today is, who is the original man? So, who is the original man? This is from the Student Enrollment Rules of Islam. The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker. That word is important. The owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. Isn't that a nice graphic?
Yeah.
Praise be to Allah. So original. Now let's look up the definition of the word original. Original means to be present or existing from the beginning. First or earliest. So when we ask who is the original man, that means that I may say, Brother Malik, you know, you are an original man. Brother Darrell, you're an original man. Brother Tim, you're an original man. And sisters and brothers collectively are the original man, both male and female. And so let's see what that actually means. Were we here in the beginning? What does that mean? How do we square that up, that you and I are original men and women? The last time we asked whether or not our skin color qualified us to be original. Is that what it is about? Interestingly enough, my 6-year-old, well, she's not 6, she's 8 years old now, granddaughter, commented on Brother Darrell's comment last Sunday when he said, your skin is your ticket in. And she turned to her best friend, or one of her best friends, and said, but your skin is so light. She was wondering, did she have a ticket in? Because she had this very, very light skin. See, she came to me and she told me that. And then you know what the young lady said, the little girl, she said, I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask my mom. So we have to know that it's something maybe a little bit more than just the skin color. So, of course, man means, I mean, that's real. From the mouths of babes. And then the young lady, the little girl did not know. No. She was like, I don't know. I'm going to have to ask my mom. So we need to look at that a little bit deeper. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He said, don't teach it like I teach it. He told him to go into the meaning of it. And the same thing with us. We have to go into the meaning of it. So sometimes we say things that mean what they mean, that the black man is the original man and your skin is your ticket in, but yet it means a little bit more too. So, man means an individual, human, especially an adult male. So what does that mean to you, Sister Demoiselle, Sister Gabrielle, Sister Daia, myself? If the original man is just the male, an adult male, human, does that mean that we are not original people? Well, let's look a little bit deeper. According to Christian Science doctrine, they espouse that the word man, actually it says the compound idea of the infinite spirit, the spiritual image and likeness of God, the full representation of mind. You remember the other time we said that the original man also means original mind.
Yeah.
And we came to the conclusion, definitely, that we are not original people at this time in terms of the original man, because we don't have the original mind. So, the class outline. Today we're going to go over Allah God as the originator. We went over I am that I am before. In the beginning, there was no thing, an atom of water. Electricity, the word, the logos. Allah says to it be, and it is. We're going to go over this next week. Allah is the fashioner of shapes, the sphere. Man is created in the image and likeness of God. Allah intervened in our affairs. And the first Master Card Muhammad, or W.F. Muhammad, English lesson number C1. My name is W.F. Muhammad. Now, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in his Theology of Time lecture series, there were so many different references from that lecture about the beginning of the universe. Phenomenal. When you take what he says, now that I'm growing up a little bit more in in science, that I'm able to look more deeply into what he said than I did when I first saw it. And so, the only explanation is that he had to talk to God. We're talking about a man who said this in 1972, but he learned it in 1931 to 1934. And they're just now coming to the conclusion, barely this day, that what he said was correct. Now, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, yeah, I want to talk with you all the time, he says. This is in the first one that he did, June 11, 1972. If I don't do it, God will hold me responsible for him giving me the knowledge that you never have dreamed of yet out of your head of God, the knower of all things. I will be held responsible. I go slow with you at time because I know your disbelief. You are people who were raised by the devil, who hates the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, who hates the truth and loves lies. But I defy him disproving me of any words that I teach to you. If you could go outside and bring me in a white man that says that he can prove that I am lying to you, I will give you $10,000 for every word that I have said that was a lie. That's heavy.
Yeah.
And he didn't tell lies, and he wasn't selling a wolf ticket. He said he'll give you $10,000 for every word. Do you think that somebody that could find that he was selling a lie wouldn't take him up on it?
Yeah.
Yes.
They can find
Yeah.
it.
Yes, if they could find one. Now, the theology of time. This is another quote by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, the history of you have been taught to me, that's him talking, as far back as the first I'm sorry, I can't see it. The first, the atom that first birthed forth to give away sound. Now that's deep. He said the atom gave sound first. And he said that was beyond 76 trillion years ago. 76 trillion years ago. 1 trillion years is a long time. But when you put certain tens of them together, it runs you out of reading them almost. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So he teaches us that the history that he has been taught is beyond 76 trillion years. Now the enemy says that the universe is only 8 billion years. Some of them say as far as 13 billion years. I mean, so, you know, they don't have a definite age of the universe, but he's saying 76 to 78 trillion years that we only have history up to 76, but he said it goes beyond that. So we're talking about that the enemy has to be way, way off in his calculations. And we need to ask ourselves why he's so far off in his calculation. And I have a theory, but I'll deal with that next week. What is a trillion? Who knows what a trillion is? If you did scientific notation, how many zeros would a trillion have? We don't even think about a trillion, huh? We so broke, we don't even think about anything beyond 1,000 there. Like, if we got 1,000, we ballin'. 10 to the 12. Okay, so that's what a trillion is, but do we know what a trillion looks like? We know that America is in several trillions. I know the last time I heard it was like $15 trillion of debt. What is it today, Brother Darren?
A little more than 20.
Do you know what $20 trillion looks like?
20 trillion, you're talking about astronomical units.
So she means a lot. That's what she's trying to say in her physics vernacular. Okay, but we're gonna show you what that means. So a trillion is a million, or 10 to the 12. A million. So let's look at a trillion. And check this out. It says, how big is a trillion? A trillion of anything. Mine can't even conceive it. Now I brought for our, see this? These are $1 bills, right?
Yeah.
Got that? It says, if we stack 1 trillion, this is 2 of them. You see how flat that is? That's flat. If we stack $1 trillion bills on top of each other, I say 1 trillion, it would stand 67,866 miles high. It would reach the moon.
No.
You see how thin this is?
Yeah.
So if I put 1 trillion of these together, it'll reach the moon.
A third of the way.
A third of the way
So,
to the moon. So that means that you would have to take 3 stacks of $1 trillion, $3 trillion to get to the moon. That's a lot, huh? And you see how thin a dollar is?
Yeah.
So we're talking about a lot of history, right? Just think about $1. and for every what? Every trillion year? No, not every trillion. Every $1 bill. We're gonna have to calculate that. That's all I know. It's a lot of time. A lot of time. Praise be to Allah. Let's look at this. Now, if this was a $100 bill, you see this? You ever been to the Statue of Liberty?
Nope.
Me neither, but I know it's tall. I have been to a football field. See, that's the football field in length. That's the Statue of Liberty in height. That's an 18-wheeler, Brother Darren. What's that? A 52-foot bed right there?
53.
53-foot bed plus the cab. Okay. Now, this right here is $15 trillion $100 bills. I just want us to think about it. How much is 76 trillion years? That's a long time, huh? Okay, I just want us to get, now he's telling us we have history that goes back that far. And that we are direct descendants of the God that created the heavens and the earth. So contained within our DNA is actually a written record of all of the history of 76 trillion years of history. You know that equals to be almost the exact number of cells that you have in your body. 76 trillion years. Just think about that. 76 trillion cells, 76 trillion years. They span from 76 to 100 trillion. But God is something, huh? And these teachers are powerful.
Supreme wisdom, some call it the lessons, but I call it life, actual facts, no guessing.